On today's video, we'll be discussing secret layers and the surprise waiting for players who buy them. I'll be honest, it's happened. I now have to talk about secret layers. There's some stuff to discuss, and for those who've been around my channel for a while, you know secret layers are not my favorite topic. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here, and thanks again for coming and checking out my channel today and hanging out with me. A special thank you to all the new subscribers hitting that subscribe button. We're only 90 subs away from hitting the goal of 13,000 subscribers. I can't wait to see what comes next, and thanks again for all that support that everyone is showing me by giving me a chance to put my content out there. I really appreciate it. And again, to all my regular viewers, my patrons who support this channel every single day, as well as my YouTube membership members, guys, what an epic journey this has been. I can't wait to see how far we go. Secret layers. For anyone who is new to my channel, I will stake this out as my point of view before I begin this video, and that is that I don't like them. I've never liked secret layers, nor have I actually purchased any of this product. For secret layers as a whole, I've always believed they should have been like From the Vault series, limited products that went directly to the LGS level where they could make a few extra bucks to keep their doors open. I thought it was kind of a bonus product. What Wizards of the Coast has done with this relatively new product, Secret Layers, is they sell direct to the consumers. When they sell direct, they are reaping all the benefits and all the rewards on those products. They get to take all that money in-house, and it is a massive money-making machine for the company. There's no bones about it. I do follow the secondary market on what happens inside of Secret Layers for the sealed as well as the individual cards that Wizards of the Coast puts out. And I don't normally do videos on Secret Layers, although I do answer my Patreon questions about them as they come up. And the only ones I currently own are ones that I asked a friend to buy for me. And that was going to be the Saturday Morning Dungeons and Dragons as well as Stranger Things, because the Mini Mox, my little kid, just loved that show, and I said I would get those for him. So I went ahead and asked a friend to buy them for me. Guys, these products have a lot of value attached to them. Some players don't realize how many get sold. They don't realize how many gets, ripped open and opened on the secondary market. There are a lot of surprises that I'll share with you during the video today to let you know, as I show the cards to you, the actual breakdown of what's happening on that secondary market. It's quite interesting to see, since I don't directly get involved, but I can recognize the value of the money that Wizards of the Coast is bringing into their pockets because it's a direct sale product. They're not in a rush to ship it out to you. They can get massive discounts when they do things in a big bulk order, so they're not going to be in a rush to get this stuff to you, but they are in a rush to get your money from your credit card before they ship it out. So let's start the video off. Let's get things going. I'm looking forward to reading your comments in the video at the end. And of course, if you enjoyed the content, please remember to give this video a thumbs up. I'm looking forward to reading everyone's stuff. So the first card we're talking about today is going to be the Dragon Secret Layer series. Now when you look at this, it's $150 Canadian for a near mint copy, but there was none to be found locally here in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. They're completely sold out. When I reached into some of the stores and asked them this question, they said there are some people looking for it on wish lists and buy lists, but nothing gets turned in when it comes to the Dragon. They opened over 100 Secret Layers. All of them got sold out, and nothing's ever been returned. So cards like this on Secret Layer, because people are building Dragon Commander decks, and they like to have that kind of awesome uniqueness to a card, these are cards they're picking up on. Now, the market price in the US is $92.67 US, but overseas, it's €55.99 to get this card. It is so much cheaper to buy it overseas that I was really surprised. When you check things on Card Market and some of the sales there, as well as the few stores I reached out, they may be available as individuals on Card Market, but stores over there didn't seem to have that many copies, if any, available either. Which means as these cards find their way into the secondary market, they get owned by individual players. They don't really seem to get controlled by the stores, which is a very interesting thing. And as you start looking at these cards and realizing Wizards will only kind of bring out the Dragon every once in a while, you can expect to see a reprint sooner or later, but it's not going to be often enough, which means that value will probably stay very high for a very long period of time. I know I'm trying to build my son Minimox's commander deck, and I do need to get the Dragon. So eventually I'm going to have to buy it. But now I'm wondering if I'll be able to find one in Secret Lairs. I guess I could maybe go on to TCG Player to get it, but we'll have to wait and see. It's a little bit down the road. I got some Arabian Nights cards to get first. Now our next card coming up is Vorinclex. Now this is the Voice of Hunger. This is not the Monstrous Raider, who I consider to be an amazing card. And of course the Secret Lairs series is in the Phyrexian writing. This one was available locally. $22 Canadian for a near mint copy. You can see the market though is only $13.07, and of course it's €13.05 to get this card to your house. Quite a little bit of a disparity from Canadian to overseas for this one. But when we're taking a look at the Monstrous Raider, right, from the Secret Lair series, original artwork, not much changed other than the Phyrexian writing, but this card actually sells massive amounts. Ever since going back about 2.5, 3 months now, when Dominaria United got put out there and we started seeing all the spoilers and we saw how much of the Phyrexians there were, cards like this really saw an uptick in sales. But the interesting thing is that the price continued to fall a little bit. I think that will change over time. Cards like this don't always get recognized for that uniqueness until much later on. And with the way Secret Lairs are done, players who keep them sealed really do tend to keep these things sealed up and don't just open them randomly. They hold on to them for very long periods of time, hoping that they will be an investment they can flip later on or sell individual cards as the prices rise. This is a battle of attrition, and a lot of players are really enjoying the benefits of being able to sell these sealed later on. It is happening on the secondary market quite often. Now our next card is Atraxa Praetor's Voice Gilded Foil. Very interesting Secret Lair here. $65 Canadian locally. They completely sold out in the pre-sale, which means they kept putting it up and it got sold out anyway. Now, although I can appreciate the look of the Gilded Foil, I really like the border that they did for this. Anything like that from New Capenna just blows my mind. But I'm not particularly attracted to the image we see, but I can appreciate it for what it is. This is an amazing card to see, guys. And the value that's being driven there. When Wizards of the Coast looks at these things and they put out these Secret Lair sets, because it's a direct sale, the amount of money they reap from, it probably costs them, let's say, $10 to put one together, probably even less than that, honestly, even with the shipping fees, because they're probably ordering a very large amount. These things going out, they're making hand over fist money that they can reinvest into new Secret Lairs, new artwork that, don't forget, they actually own the artwork at the end, which again on the secondary market has its own value. This is some crazy stuff when you start breaking it down. And as Wizards of the Coast sees their sales start to slump, that means as the sales go down, Wizards of the Coast will be leaning on things like Secret Lair. Expect to see more Secret Lairs, not less, because players are so mad about some of the choices Wizards has made that Wizards will print other sets more often or come up with more unique devices to make their income levels balance out if they're seeing losses somewhere else. Now, Mystic Remora, I actually really like this artwork, especially compared to the original. I mean, OG artwork is always great, but this artwork really is just breathtakingly beautiful. Another Secret Lair. Now, this one here sold out in the first week. When the pre-orders went in from all the stores I've talked to, no one got to keep this particular Secret Lair card in stock. So again, it's one of those cards controlled by the player market on the secondary, not by stores. And I find that very interesting because I know stores do order a lot of Secret Lairs, but obviously not nearly as much as players. And the players in turn are keeping these products. They're not selling them back as secondary cards, which means in the long run, the expected value of these cards will continue to grow because scarcity will set in, making these cards a much more valuable product. And as much as I don't like Secret Lairs, as much as I'm not drawn to these cards because I want them to be at the LGS level, I can appreciate the value. And I can say, for those who asked early on in my career how I felt about Secret Lairs, I can admit that I was wrong. There's nothing wrong with saying you've made a mistake. It doesn't mean I'm going to buy into this product, but I can recognize the value that is going to be there for people who invested in it, as well as people who held on to their cards and said, I just want to keep these because they're beautiful. A very, very good deal they made. Now, when you look at the secret, let's call this one the Dark Boar Pathway, okay? I like the Kaldheim ones. I like the ones we've seen from the sets like Zendikar Rise, and they were all very beautiful, okay? Very, very cool stuff. But this art is very nice as well. But you notice the value. $12 Canadian, they had like 10 in stock. This card and all the Pathways have never jumped to that same level yet. But that doesn't mean Pathways won't in the future. So when I see a card for 12 bucks, and it can come in as either, you know, the green or black, it gives you those choices. These are cards you should be paying attention to from Secret Lairs, as well as what we saw from Kaldheim, which got a little bit of a short run. And of course, Zendikar rising because, hey, Zendikar was around for a while, did very well. But again, these cards got bought up, but just not bought up enough. Wizards probably won't be reprinting these anytime soon. They may be in rotation later on, but not in the near future. And this price at this level makes it a very attractive card for players who are still building commander decks. Now our next card is Chun Li. That's right, Street Fighter. And I chose her specifically because I used to use her all the time in the old arcade game, and I would pin people up against the wall doing that 100-mile-an-hour kick and just nail people. Loved it. They called it, what we called cheese. You would cheese people back then. That's all I knew how to play back then. I just get people into the corner, throw you in there, and beat you down. Again, $20 Canadian, near mint, and this card is sold out again. Now, when you see IPs like this, like Street Fighter, Wizards trying to tap in to the people of that age category, which is players like me, the people who are in their late 30s to mid to late 40s, who played these games in the arcade. This is one of those things that just draws you in and says, oh my god, it's Street Fighter. You know, it's all the amazing characters from the game, and that is an amazing thing to see as artwork, as a card. Love it. Would I ever use them? No. Would I ever buy this? No. But it doesn't matter in this case what I think or feel. The market tells me that even though the price fell, it continued to sell. And it sold very well. And it still sells now. If Wizards doesn't reprint these, if these actually never come around, even though they could, but if they never come around as offerings again, players ask me if this would be considered a new pseudo-reserve list. And it probably is. I'm not going to say like 100% definite because it's not reserve list, but the idea they would have to relicense it to reissue it means it's probably going to be a definite deficit to them ever reprinting cards like this again, where the IPs are unique. Just like the Lord of the Rings set and the sets going forward like that, where they just lock the IP in for a 5-year time period or something. Chances are we're not going to see it, but that doesn't mean that at the time they didn't print a whole bunch of extra ones by 100,000, 200,000, just to store in a warehouse for some future use. We don't know that. They're not telling you that, but you never know what they've got locked away in the vaults, right? Now the next card, Tiamat Showcase, another dragon. And again, look at the price of this one. $120 Canadian locally if you'd wanted the card, but it's sold out. The foil goes for the $64.99 US if you can find it. Again, if you look on TCG Player, they do have some of these cards for sale, but many are sold out. And if you're deciding to buy any of these cards or just are shopping on TCG Player at all, please remember to use my affiliate link. You can find it in the description of any video I put out. Just click on the link. It'll take you directly to TCG. You can start your shopping experience. And of course, the channel here gets a kickback, which allows me to buy cards as well for Magic the Gathering. So that's awesome if you guys can help me out. I really appreciate it. When we're looking at Tiamat, I talked about this card being way too cheap. And that, you know, Adventures in Forgotten Realms definitely got the short end of the stick and it got cut off early. And that means since it wasn't open that much other than the initial run, there wasn't tons of printings, Tiamat will be a more desirable card later. It is used in Commander for the Dragon Tribal decks being built because it lets you search your library, and getting 5 Dragon cards with different names is a definite bonus. I actually do not own this card, although I did get my son some of the regular versions and kind of fancier versions they had because they were like $10, $8. It was so cheap you couldn't pass them up. But the Secret Lair series here definitely adds that extra element of beauty to the deck. A little bit of bling factor when you look at these kind of versions. So it is something I would consider getting if I had extra cash, but it doesn't matter because people are still buying it and it's already sold out. So people already had that idea and already jumped in and did it. So what can you say about that? Assassin's Trophy. I find this card interesting. I remember the first time I saw it used against me, and I love the card now. This artwork, again, it kind of speaks to me. I like this artwork. That's why I chose it as a card to show you guys. $35 Canadian near mint. There's a couple for sale, like 10 or 12. The market value is $21.55 US. €21.47 to get this card into your house. But it's another Secret Lair that is very desirable, gets bought all the time, but the price is still falling. Now that I always find interesting when a price is falling, but the cards are selling. Eventually, scarcity will take effect and these cards will get drawn up in value, but it may take a very long time depending on how many were broken open and sold as singles versus how many people desired the cards. And then following through on that, how many kept it sealed for a later date and are maybe cracking them when the price starts to go up, which could temporarily force that price down years from now. Because if this card, again, is not reprinted, eventually you're going to play somebody who has that card, you're going to be drawn and say, wow, that's amazing, where'd you get it? And then somebody goes and looks up the card and tries to buy it later. Very nice. Now, the next card. These are interesting, okay? The next two are both going to be Shocklands, okay? Hollow Fountain, sold out at $18 Canadian near mint for the Secret Lair series. 18 bucks. So cheap. All right, the market price is $11.29, and this card's available on TCG Player. It's just locally I can't find it, but TCG had copies for sale. A very low-priced Shockland to still buy, okay? I look at cards like this, and when we know Shocklands haven't been printed in a while, we're not going back to Ravnica for any time soon, and we've just had the Infinity set come out, which didn't really put enough into I guess, circulation. We don't have that many floating around. That cards like this are going to start going up in value. They're going to trickle up over time, but you're looking at 50 cents, 60 cents, and if any new decks get built that use these specifically, use a Hallowed Fountain or some of the less desirable lands, you're going to see it just, go up, which is interesting. Because at this low price, somebody might take a stab at it even after watching my video. They might say, hey, I can get 4 copies for like 40 bucks. That's a great deal. And they might just go ahead and do it. I know. Trust me, I've known players who've done it before. It's just too good of a deal to pass up sometimes when you know the market's already told you it's not coming around anytime soon. And the last one I want to share with you guys is Steam Vents. Because I love the one from Infinity. I really do. An amazing, beautiful piece of artwork. And the funny thing is, when you look at this, I still like the artwork. It's great. It's still a Shockland. But look at the price on this one compared to Hollow Fountain. You had to buy a set of 3. Because they're actually selling like the actual set of Secret Lair. There were no singles available for this card, but you could buy the Secret Lair set of the 3 Shocklands for $75 Canadian. So it's the whole little Secret Lair set. Now the average price, though, in the US for the market is $24.48. That's the market price right now. And then it's €26.54 to get this card to your house. So it's about right, except for you get 2 different types of the Shocklands along with the Steam Vent. So I look at those cards, and I know that Shockland prices have been rising. You look at that as a secondary market effect of the fact they haven't reprinted enough into the market right now. We've also seen nothing right now with fetch lands. With fetch lands not being sold a lot, that's starting to move upward again. We talked about that last week in the video. But when you're taking a look at Secret Lairs, I think it's totally fine to say, hey, I was wrong. They've been around long enough that I can see how the market's reacting. I can see the thousands of sales these go through every single time. But Wizards will lean on this, which will dilute the market. They may try to raise the prices or raise shipping fees to capitalize more on the popularity of that product. And I don't know how the new drop series are going. I haven't gotten the info on those yet. But it's something to be aware of going forward, that they're going to charge that credit card first. They're going to give you the product later. They're not in a rush to get it to you. And, I mean, not having dates attached to the thing is always a bad thing. I know they took the dates off. I remember seeing that on the board they put up. So, what can you say? You check the web, you don't see a date. You're like, when am I going to get it? That's kind of a bad news scenario because they're charging your credit card right away. So anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out on the video today. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow. We're going to have a great time. Enjoy. And of course, a big shout out goes out to all the fantastic patrons on this channel who help and support each and every month. Thank you again, everyone, for being there for me. You guys are amazing. I still say it's okay to admit when you're wrong. I'm not a fan of Secret Lairs, but I can see the money and the value in that secondary market. Welcome back, 3%ers. Thanks for making it to the end. You are the 3% who make it this far in the videos. Whew, I know, right? It was a longer video than normal I've been doing lately because there was just so much to talk about. There's a lot of sales going on in that secondary market on those cards. And it seems way more than normal in the last 30 days. And we know what happened in the last 30 days. Wizards are so messed up. Anyway, thanks for hanging out, guys. Thanks for being here and listening to me ramble at the end because you are the 3%ers. I'm telling you, you put a boomstick in that comment section and I know what you're talking about.